A massive model reveal today. It seems that Angron, the Red Angel of the World Eaters, is finally confirmed. Hello and welcome back to Warspecs Tactics, where today we're here to talk about a big and rather splendid model reveal. Somehow some of the new World Eaters have got out a bit early, and Demon Primarch Angron himself is here in all of his massive mighty glory. The World Eaters release I don't think is expected for really quite a long time yet. It's why Games Workshop made the White Dwarf supplement for the interim for the Legion in the Chaos Codex, so I wouldn't really be all that much surprised if it didn't drop for another 6 months or more. When it does, though, we already kind of knew that Angron was going to be coming. The Death Guard got Mortarion and the Thousand Sons got Magnus, so it seemed very unlikely that they'd do a World Eaters release without Angron. But I'm sure it's going to make a lot of people very excited for the release now they've seen the Primarch himself, and they know the potential centerpiece at the heart of the army. What's more, in this leak it doesn't just appear to be Angron, we've also got new Khorne Berzerkers, new Cultists, and possibly a new Terminator as well. Plus, for the Imperial Guard, I do believe those Cadian models are new as well, down at the front of the frame. Games Workshop do seem to have a habit of showing off all their new models via leaked publicity shots. Maybe they'll actually follow this up with a full reveal of Angron over on their community sites. First up, let's focus on the big guy himself. Angron's back, big red, and surprisingly enough looks angrier than ever. The epitome of a Khorne demon prince, and it looks like he's carrying both an axe and a sword in this one. Maybe in game one of them will be a massive strike attack to take out tanks, and the other one will be able to do a sweep attack to chew their way through hordes. I think it was expected that he'd be a winged demon Primarch, but that's also confirmed. Enormous great big leathery Khorne demon wings there, studded with spikes. Pretty handy to have on who's almost certainly going to be an all-combat Primarch. Shouldn't be too hard to get him closer to the enemy. If Magnus is anything to go by, then he's got a massive 16-inch move, so I wouldn't be too surprised if he got similar. Potentially able to jump from one deployment zone to the other at the start of the game if you want to, and maybe get a first turn charge. The other thing to note is that he is also just utterly massive. You can see him next to those new reimagined Khorne Berzerkers in the background there, absolutely towering over them. It'll be interesting to see him stacked up against his brother Primarchs, and how he compares to Mortarion and Magnus when they're in a line-up together. The leak itself is really quite blurry, but you can see a fair bit of his armour ornamentation. Looks like he's got plenty of skulls for Khorne festooning his armour plates. A bunch of hanging chains, I believe that would be off Gorefather, his axe, unless I'm wrong. And I think it's quite fun the way that they've painted his great big sword. It looks like it's got a glowing effect coming from within. Pricing wise for such a big kit, I strongly suspect it's going to cost a pretty penny. Currently Mortarion's on sale for £95, $160 or €125. My guess would be that it will probably be in line with that. Though, seeing as Mortarion came out a little while back, I certainly wouldn't be too surprised if Games Workshop charged a little more. They do often do that for new releases, sadly. I think it'll be really fun to review the rules for this guy. It's rare that you can see a model in 40k and be at least fairly certain that he's going to have one of the best melee profiles in the entire game. Currently, the other Demon Primarchs genuinely do punch pretty hard. For just raw damage output, Mortarion is one of the scarier threats that you could face, never mind some of the other characters out there that ignore invuls and things. If they were releasing Angron's rules though, and he didn't wind up being one of the nastiest melee threats that you could possibly face, then you'd feel that they'd probably have done something wrong. Otherwise, as with the other Demon Primarchs, I'd be expecting a 4+ invul save on him, a good 18 wounds or so, an ability to command World Eaters to reroll all hit rolls for one unit, and probably a multitude of Warlord traits and other special abilities. I've no doubt that will make everyone around him just that little bit more full of rage. Overall, a really cool model. I'm sure there'll be a lot of happy World Eaters players out there. That really isn't all though, as we've got these blurry background pictures of Berzerkers and Khorne Cultists, or maybe Gors. In the foreground we appear to have what is likely to be the new Khorne Berzerker kit, I think. The silhouette's pretty iconic, and from what I can see of the silhouettes of these guys, they look very nice indeed. A bunch of them seem to have chain axes or chain swords. I'm sure they'll have all manner of chain weapons to choose from. I do wonder if that might be a great big power sword on the back under Angron's big blade himself. A couple of them interestingly look like they've got bare arms as well, kind of similar to Khan the Betrayer. I guess sometimes you just get so angry that you forget to put on all your power armor. Again, Khorne Berzerkers was something that literally anyone would have predicted with a World Eaters release. They've been a model kit that needs an update for really quite a long time now, and I'm sure when their codex comes out they'll get some fancy new rules and lots of nasty buffs that you can put on them to make them hit even harder. Shame that we can't make out a little bit more of these. I do wonder whether or not we might have a character or Terminator guy on the bottom right. His shoulder pads look a little bit different to the rest of them. Otherwise, in the background, we've got some new, more bloodthirsty cultists. These guys are on extreme blur mode. I'm going to guess that these are going to be the Cornate equivalent of, say, Poxwalkers for the Death Guard, or the Zangors for the Thousand Sons. Basically a core mutated follower unit, hell-bent on bloodshed. A couple of them, you can see some really quite big, oversized melee weapons. I particularly like that guy at the top, second from the right. He's got a huge axe and another combat weapon of some sort. He just looks almost kind of hilariously unstable, pitching forward to combat, swinging two enormous blades. It's kind of hard to tell without any closer details. I do wonder whether these might be Gors though, and have the goat leg thing that a few of the beastmen in 40k have going on. I think people wouldn't really say no to just some mortal followers armed with some brutal close combat weapons though, as a Khorne version of cultists. Under Angron's wing blade as well, we can also see something big and hulking looking. Not really too sure what that is. Could be some sort of mutated hulking space marine outside of his armor. Or perhaps an extra mutated cultist, perhaps maybe a taskmaster to lead the other bloodthirsty boys into game. Finally, in shot, I believe that these might be new Cadians. Again, kind of hard to tell too easily just from the backs of a few models, but I don't believe that any of the current kits come with backpacks, and these do appear to be Cadian as opposed to Kriegsmen or anything just from the icons and symbols. We did see what looks like a potential new infantry squad in that great big guard leak a little while back, and I do wonder whether or not these might represent them. My guess from that leak was whether or not it might be a Cadian veterans kit or special weapons team. I suppose it could just be the Cadian infantry box completely redone, despite them having repackaged it with the upgrade sprue the other year. In any case, good news for guard players. Often in their publicity shots they like to have their new releases fighting off against each other. Though we still don't know whether guard are going to be coming before or after World Eaters. My guess will be before. Overall though, pretty massive news, a new Daemon Primarch, lots of other shadowy glimpses of other Cornate fury. I really look forward to hearing your guys' views and opinions about the new model, and how good a job you think that Games Workshop's done with him. For me, I think that they've done pretty well, to be honest. That's pretty much what I would have expected Angron to look like. A great big massive demon prince of rage and bloodshed, hurtling towards the enemy at breakneck speed. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, while I'll certainly cover Games Workshop's news and releases here on the channel, including any other fun leaked things that we get about the World Eaters. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well. You can find that down in the video description. The channel's Patreon is what allows me to keep on making these videos quite so regularly, so if you are enjoying a bit, any support is enormously appreciated. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.